Hi guys, and today we're going to be talking about my top 10 new geeky shows of 2018. These are the most anticipated geeky shows around for the new year. Now these are going to be my opinions of the top 10, but in general these are the most anticipated shows of the new year. For once, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. This is probably one of the only ones you're going to get because I haven't seen any of these shows yet, and this is just from trailers and articles. There's not really anything for me to spoil. If there is something I say that sounds a little spoiler-like, I will put up the spoiler warning. So beware and look for it. But most likely, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. Now with that, let's get on with the countdown. Number 10 is a show called Lost in Space that will be on Netflix. At the moment, it has no premiere date. Lost in Space is actually a reboot of a 1960s show of the same name. The show is about a family struggling to survive out in space. So far, we don't know much about it except for a couple of the characters and their actors. Right now, one of the Robinsons family is being played by an actor named Taylor Russell. Because of this, we think that there is a chance that the family may actually have a chance of being interracial. No one knows if this is going to be true or not. And along with this, it's number 10 for a reason on my list because of the fact that it's a reboot. Reboots never really end up well. Usually things go wrong, usually they try to improve them too much, or they don't improve them enough, or everyone is comparing it to the original. You have all the original fans who really want something very similar, but even with it being sci-fi, you have to change it now that we have better CGI. And some of the original fans can be picky about that kind of stuff. So for that reason, this is the last on my list. And I hope it does a good job for all the original fans of the show. And I hope they have something to look on that they love. But I don't have a huge chance for it. Number 9 on my list is a show called Castle Rock. Castle Rock will be premiering on Hulu, but at this point does not have a date. All we know is it'll be sometime in 2018. The show is going to be based on Stephen King stories. It is going to be a mixture of a bunch of different stories put together to create the overall big story. The reason this is number 9 on my list is because I am not that much of a horror fan. I like dark stories that mess with your mind, so it all depends on how this is written to whether I like it or not. If it is more of a dark show that messes with your mind, I think I will like it. If it is one of those shows where things just pop out at you, I am not going to like it. It all depends on what Stephen King stories they use. They haven't really explained which ones they're planning on using yet. Along with that, the characters have already been casted. You can go online and look them up. I believe the cast is a good ratio of people, of all ages, all races. And because it's on Hulu, that's another reason it is low on my list. I don't have a Hulu subscription. So, I'm not going to be able to watch it. What they have out now for Castle Rock is a first look teaser. It's about a minute and 15 seconds. It doesn't really give much of the story away. It just kind of goes back and forth between clips really fast. So, I say go look it up and figure out if you like it or not. So, I can't really tell you what this is going to be about. Just looks like it's going to be based on Stephen King, pretty much. Number 8 is a show called New Warriors by Marvel. Right now, this show is set to premiere sometime in 2018, but at the moment it has no channel and no premiere date. It was originally going to be on Freeform, but Freeform pulled it, which is really worrying me about the show. Overall, I have a couple problems with it, but because it is Marvel, it got itself a little bit higher on my list. This is because, first off, the show is pulled from a channel. And things are usually pulled for a certain reason, not just because there's no room. Secondly, this is a group dynamic show that is meant to be a comedy. And comedies are really hard to pull off. It's kind of like if the Avengers had their own TV show, but with the most stupidest superheroes ever imagined. Squirrel Girl is supposed to be a part of the show, along with a couple other really stupid guys with powers. Now, they think this is going to be a good idea because it's going to be really funny. But lots of people find different things funny. And if I find this funny, I think it is going to be one of the best shows of the year. But the comedy is the number one thing that worries me. and the fact that at the moment they don't even know what channel they're going to be on. The show is different. It's a funny superhero show, and they have a very diverse cast. Mostly colored people, with making it very different and very unique. So I'm hoping this does a really good job, because if it does, I think it's going to be one of the best new shows of the year. But because of all the issues, it is about on the lower level of my list. My number 7 most anticipated geeky show of 2018 is a show called Electric Dreams. It actually already premiered. It premiered on January 12th on Amazon Prime. This show is a sci-fi show where we pull in many different sci-fi stories, and each episode is a solo sci-fi story. Many people are saying this show copied Black Mirror, so they're not going to watch it. But Electric Dreams actually existed before Black Mirror on Channel 4 on BBC in Europe. So, many people could actually say Black Mirror copied Electric Dreams. Now, I think this show is going to be wonderful. I love shows where I don't have to keep up every week and I can watch whenever I want. And I've loved Black Mirror, and the fact that Electric Dreams is twice as much sci-fi makes it look like it's going to be 10 times better. I've seen the trailer. It looks like it's going to be 10 times better than Black Mirror. They have makeup. They have monsters. It looks like they spent like hours in a makeup room making these monsters for each and every episode. They take the element of sci-fi and they bring it up. So if you like Black Mirror and you like sci-fi, I say this should be your new show of 2018. Just hopefully you have Amazon Prime, because I don't, and I am mad because now I can't watch it. Number 6 is the CW's latest installment of a superhero show. This is called Black Lightning. At the moment you are watching this, the show actually premiered last night. I haven't seen it yet, as it's only about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I'm hoping this is going to be really good. The one thing that worries me, though, is it's going to be the same concept as every other CW superhero show. We have a superhero, and then we have their team, and it's just the same concept every single week. I've actually stopped watching a lot of the CW superhero shows because it's the same thing every time. Now, I'm hoping Black Lightning will be different from the other CW shows, because this one is about a father and his 2 daughters. It starts off with Black Lightning being retired from his superhero job because he has 2 kids. And as the series goes on, he goes back into his superhero career, and his 2 daughters actually join him. Because of this, I'm thinking the show will have a different dynamic than the teams that we've seen before, but it's the CW. I don't know how different they're really going to be. And that kind of worries me. This is why Black Lightning is about halfway through my list and not higher up. Because the CW does a wonderful job. They just do the same thing every single time. This show is going to be different, though. Black Lightning is played by an African American, is an African American superhero. So his entire family is colored. And that is out of the box for a CW superhero show. So I'm hoping that gets the show more attention. But that is only if they can make it different. And CW, I'm talking to you. Please make your shows different. Now, number 5 is a show I am really looking forward to. It is completely different from all the other shows I've been telling you about. It's called The Alienist and will premiere on TNT on January 22nd. This show is about a crime reporter and a psychologist who meet up and try to solve a murder. Along with that, this show takes place in the late 19th century, giving it a different vibe and a different spin on things, as psychologists were not really normal at that point. One of the main guys in the show will be played by Luke Evans, while the main female is going to be played by Dakota Fanning. I really haven't seen her in anything since my childhood, so this is going to be huge for me to see her again. Yes, this is completely different from everything. I'm usually a girl who watches superhero shows or really sci-fi shows, but this seems great for any murder geek out there. It's so different as it messes psychologically with the characters, and the fact that it takes place in the 19th century for all you history buffs just seems like it's one of those different shows. I love things that are going to be different. I'm going to sit down and watch this on January 22nd, and then hopefully we can have a review of it. and I'll tell you if it was as anticipated and worth it as I thought it was going to be. Number 4 is another Marvel show, this time coming to Freeform, meaning it is going to be a lot different than all the other Marvel shows we've seen out there. It is coming sometime in 2018 as it has no premiere date yet. The show is called Cloak and Dagger. It is about 2 superheroes that are from completely different sides of the track. One is a skinny little blonde, popular girl, while the other is a big black dude from a low-end community town. They discover in the first episode that they both have powers, and together their powers are twice as strong. She can create light daggers, and he can devour people in darkness. This all started when they were younger, and she almost drowned and was saved by him. Once they discover they have these powers and that they need to work together, they kind of develop a romantic relationship that goes back and forth throughout the series, making this more of a Freeform type show with the relationships that Freeform usually gives. It is more of a teen drama with a Marvel superhero spin, which makes me very interested in this show. I think it's going to be different from all the CW superhero stuff we've seen. It's definitely different from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., as there are only 2 superheroes. They are going to end up being a couple at some point, and they have to work together. So, I may check in on it. I may give you guys a review on it. If you want a review on this show, let me know below, and I'll be happy to do one. Freeform is definitely getting involved with Marvel more, and I hope this is one of many new Marvel Freeform shows. Now, number 3 is also a superhero show, but a DC superhero show for a change. It is called Krypton. Yes, Krypton like Superman. Krypton will be premiering on March 21st on the Sci-Fi Channel. Now, this show is actually going to be a prequel, and by prequel, we do not mean Superman's childhood or anything like that. It is going to go all the way back to the planet of Krypton, and we are going to be discovering his parents, his family, what Krypton was before it got destroyed. And the reason it is number 3 is because of this concept. It sounds amazing. It sounds different. It's a show about aliens on a planet. It is not a superhero on Earth. We are going to be discovering so much about a beloved character that people have loved for ages. I think it is a brilliant idea. It brings a sci-fi show and a superhero vibe together and creates a marvelous piece. Now, I'm usually a Marvel fan over a DC fan, but in this video, DC seems to be very strong. There's a trailer for this TV show out already, and the costuming looks wonderful. The fact that they're on another planet, which is usually really hard for a TV show to pull off, is pulled off wonderfully. I don't think there's really much you can go wrong with it. None of the actors have ever really been heard of before, but with the way the TV show looks like it is written and looks like the concept is working, I think the actors are going to do fine. Number 2 is called Altered Carbon. It is premiering on February 2nd on Netflix. Now, this is not a superhero show. This is a sci-fi show. I love it because it sounds so different. It is a combination of sci-fi and murder mystery put together. Now, from what I've heard about the show so far, the show is about the future many, many years from now. That is the one reason I love it. They created this whole new world around us. This show shows us that no one can die anymore. Death, as the trailer puts it, is now an inconvenience, as people's conscience can be downloaded and transferred from body to body, meaning you can no longer die. And they can also bring people back from the dead, as they do with one of the main characters. This is because he used to be sort of a criminal mastermind and really good at solving mysteries, so they needed him to help solve another guy's murder. So they put him in a body that was really good at fighting, and he was able to use that muscle memory to destroy others. And the guy he is helping solve a murder is actually helping that guy solve his own murder, as he was digitally downloaded into a new body as well. It is a very different concept. It is about something that, for all we know, could be real a gazillion years from now. And the fact that you could keep re-downloading yourself into other bodies. Now, the guy who they're using to solve the mystery, or the murder, had been dead for over 200 years. So the other thing that makes the show interesting is the fact that he's going to have to get used to the future. So as we learn about the future, he's also learning about the future. Netflix, I think you're doing really good on your sci-fi. It's actually something I can watch as it's on Netflix. Yay! I may review it if you want me to. Tell me below. And now let's get on to number 1. Number 1 is actually not very different. It's just something I've been waiting for my entire life. Now, number 1 is number 1 for a reason. Because I have wanted it forever. Except sadly, I don't even think I'm going to be able to watch it. Number 1 is a show called Titans. Which, you may not guess, is actually a live action version of the Teen Titans. Oh my goodness. I've wanted it forever. The Teen Titans cartoon was something I grew up with. And then they made Teen Titans Go and my life fell apart as it sucks so bad. The reason I'm not going to be able to watch this is Titans is coming out in 2018 on DC's new streaming service. I can't afford DC's new streaming service at the moment. I hope you guys can because we all need to see this. It is something I have been waiting for my entire life. Along with that, they're being very diverse with the cast. Most of them are people we've just seen here and there on TV series, but the people playing the characters are most likely people you would not think. Starfire is actually going to be black, and right now, without costume, Raven is a really small, blonde, skinny chick. Something I would not imagine. But you never know. Costumes make a huge difference. Hoping they do this justice and do it correctly and make the relationships correctly and keep it the way it should be and not change it into a live action version of Teen Titans Go. If they did that, I would throw my television across the room. But if they don't, this could be my most loved show of ever. I am a Marvel fan, but Teen Titans is the one thing that draws me into DC. Yes, this is Titans. This is kind of the group as they got older. It's not exactly the same thing. And they are bringing more characters in than just the core. Cyborg isn't actually even casted yet, so who knows if he's actually going to be in the series. But we do have Beast Boy, Robin, Raven, Starfire, and a couple others that I've actually never heard of. Even though I don't know much about the show at the moment, and they haven't even told us when it's coming out in 2018, it is still number 1 because of the concept. I've wanted a Teen Titans movie my entire life. I'm not getting that at the moment, but a TV show is just as good. We can get character depth. Teen Titans, I guess, is something that is meant to be on TV. So Titans is something I think we all need to watch. Yes, we need to watch everything on this list. They're all on my list for a reason. Even if they're at the bottom, they're still better than others, or they would have not made my list to begin with. But Titans is number 1. Yes, it's not probably going to be very different like my number 2 choice. That is extremely different and set in the future. So, go watch both. And I can review them all. If we want any of them to be reviewed, post in the comments and I can do a review of the premieres of any of these episodes in the next couple months. And I will tell you if this list was actually in the right order that it should have been. As at the moment, we really don't know much about these shows. Until tonight when I start watching the premiere of Black Lightning. So go watch the premiere of Black Lightning and we can talk about it in the future!